All right, everybody, welcome back, Smallie Chasers. We are going to talk a little update. Month into the charity series, memorial charity series event honoring our bud, Jason Netzer, who tragically passed away early February last month. So this year's charity series, we are putting together a little memorial event for his oldest daughter and for Fish Tag. It's part of the charity Brent Fish Tags organization that tags smallmouth bass in the Upper Potomac River, which of course was Jason's primary home water. And he supported those guys, so it's something we are also doing with the charity series for 2026. So, Mike and those guys at Fish Tag are doing an awesome job, keeping track. So we're going to do a couple things inside our events this year for catching tagged fish, especially if you're catching tagged fish in the charity event. When you happen to be fishing any of the Upper Potomac River events scheduled by various clubs or series. If you're in the charity series, it doesn't matter which series you're fishing in. It basically just allows you to register all your fish all year long, keep track of all your fish in that regard for good causes and stuff, and for prizes and all that stuff. So it's pretty awesome. Our rivers right now, obviously, we've got a lot of ice melt going on up in the north. We've also had some rain. We also had some snow here last week in the mid-Atlantic. And so the rivers are kind of wonk. It's been kind of crazy, I know, for a lot of people. I've talked to people who haven't even put their kayak in one time yet this year in 2026. This weekend coming up is probably going to be the first weekend where a couple guys are actually like on the water for more than a couple hours, because there's a Virginia Bass Nation event coming up on Saturday the 21st, I think, of March at Sandy Reservoir in outside Farmville. So I'm sure we're going to see some of the guys there. I'll add in also a largemouth lane as well in the charity tournament. Our tournaments are typically smallmouth only, but we do run some side pots for stuff for different species and things like that. But let's take a look at, before we get into where we're at in the charity series, let's look at Upper Potomac River today. Point of Rocks is about 4 feet. It's going to go to 7 feet in the next 5 days. The James River in Richmond is about 4 feet. It's going to go to 7 feet, 7.2 feet projected. And I'm using the NOAA, the data gauges. It's a predictive model based on the weather patterns and what's happening in the river system. Upper James, 3 feet. Buchanan area, 3 feet is going to go to 6.7 feet. New River down in Radford's probably been the most consistent river so far this year in terms of the water kind of maintaining its normal like pool. 2.3 feet. Gonna rise though to 3.6 feet. So we're gonna get a nice little rise on those ledges down there in the Radford area. The Rapidan is gonna double. It's gonna go from 1.5 feet to 3 feet. The Rappahannock, sorry. That was the Rapidan. The Rappahannock is going to go for, up Remington is going to go from 4 feet to 8 feet, so it's going to double. And then down in the Fredericksburg area, down below the fall line, it's right above the fall line, it's going to go from 2 to 4 feet. Shenandoah up in Millville for all the West Virginia guys is going to basically rise about 2 feet from 3 to like 5 feet. In that regard, South Fork is going to go from 2 feet to just under 4 feet, so it's going to double. And Luray is going to go from 2.5 on the South Fork to roughly 5 feet. So those are your river conditions for this week. So we're in for it for another week. Rising water. If you can get out there safely, obviously follow all the safety protocols. Get out there, throw the spinnerbait in this rising water. You might find some joy. So far, right now in the charity series, we've got 21 fish submissions. In first place with 177.75 inches, Mr. Troy Wines. We've got Kelly Reeves with 134 inches, and Kelly's caught 8 fish. We've got John Beverly at 99.5, has caught 6 fish so far in the series. We've got Chris Johnston at 50 inches and Caleb Bishop with his first catch of the year at 15.25. So far, we've got one citation smallmouth already caught, and that was a 20.50 river Smallie in Virginia from Mr. Wines. So, so far, so good. We got 10, we basically got half the field right now, at least it's caught a fish. Basically, we only have 10 anglers in the charity series thus far. You certainly can get on TourneyX. It's under the SCRB. Look under the Virginia tab. Look for SCRB, and you can find the charity series. Join that. Again, there's no membership requirement for the charity series. It's open to everybody, open everywhere nationwide. Does not matter where you live in the country, as long as you're fishing for smallmouth and fishing in a Smallie river. That's really the only things. We've got, so far, 5 anglers with about 40 catches. So, it's early. This has been a wonky year, obviously. I know some people are going to be getting out for the first time coming up next week and into the following week, because we are supposed to get through some of this weather. So it's going to be really, really interesting. If you have any questions about it, you can put it in the comments here on the YouTube channel, or shoot me a message. Like I said, it's open to everybody nationwide. Kayak fishing, wade fishing, bank fishing, as long as you're fishing for smallmouth in a river only. Nationwide, you're eligible to fish. There's no membership like KBF requirement or any of that, as long as you make sure that you have your designated fishing license for where you are fishing, okay? And you're fishing, following the rules and guidelines set forth in terms of access, as well as, launching areas, things like that. It's pretty flexible. Just make sure you check out the rules. You're allowed to drop in your river systems as long as you're dropping in from a public easement or public access point that allows you to be there, that is obviously not signed as no trespassing, things like that. Or if you are launching from private access, campgrounds, things like that, as long as you obviously let me know, so there are not any problems in case anybody has any issues. I know there are a lot of places in a lot of parts of the country that those are the only access ramp points on a lot of these rivers, or maybe a campground that you have to actually book and all that stuff, and that is legal and inbounds, as well as if you have permissions to launch, as long as you provide those permissions before you begin fishing. Okay, there are businesses, obviously, that are on rivers across the country. There are, things like that allow people to access the rivers from their business property. As long as you have that permission, you have that documented permission, you are eligible to do that as well. So just make sure that you abide by that, and you'll be good to go. Like I said, if you have any questions, everyone be safe out there going forward. Hopefully, we're going to get this back into spring here. I really, really think April's shaping up to be a great, great month. So love to have you in the charity series. Love to see you down on the New River on May 2nd. May 2nd on the New River. You can find that event. Will be posted up on this SCRB Smallie Chaser River Bassin page, as well as the Virginia Bass Nation under the Bassmaster Kayak Series Clubs tab, not the Open Series, the Kayak Bass Nation Clubs tab on TourneyX. Click on that, then click on Virginia, and you'll see the events that are open for registration now. For Virginia Bass Nation, make sure that if you're going to fish that concurrent event, make sure that you have your proper memberships in Virginia Bass Nation, or any real Bass Nation, I believe. I think. Double check on that. But you definitely have to have a Bass membership for that. If you're interested in fishing Smallie Chaser River Bassin events, please reach out to me, because there is a private club for 2026, and therefore you need a password in order to register for the event. So if you happen to be fishing the Virginia Bass Nation event, and you're coming from, and you just happen to also want to double dip and enter the Smallie Chaser River Bassin event, you are certainly welcome to do that. I will give you the password so you can register. If you do that, you don't have to be a member of SCRB, because it's a concurrent event and we're supporting Virginia Bass Nation. So kind of make it very economical, light on the pocket in terms of understanding what's happening with everything going on. The cost of gas, the cost of travel, the cost of hotels, campground, everything's going up, more expensive. I get that, so we just want to make sure that it's a lot more ease of entry if you're already coming down to the to the New River and you're already traveling, makes perfect sense to go ahead and double dip into the event, maximize your catch. You're going to catch a ton of smallmouth in May. You should be catching tons of smallmouth in May. Let's just say that, and hopefully the weather continues to hold down there. Because like I said, the New River's probably been one of the better rivers so far this year that hasn't been washed out, hasn't flooded, hasn't risen to 10 feet, that kind of stuff. So, if you're looking to get onto some fish, and you don't mind, traveling a little bit of ways during the rest of the month of March, and you're looking for some spots to fish, just hit me up. I'll give you some recommendations. But that's it. Charity series right now. You can find it on TourneyX. Again, Smallie Chaser Netzer Memorial Charity Series. If you're going to search it on TourneyX, Smallie Chaser Netzer Memorial Charity Series. It's a memorial event, like I said before, in support of our good friend Jason Netzer, who passed away last month. I know a lot of guys are really looking forward to getting together and reminiscing. I know Jason's already missed by many in the community. I know it's hit my community very hard where I am because Jason was always someone you saw on the water all the time and always someone you could count on to be a number two if you were going out fishing, especially on the Upper Potomac or the Monocacy. So he is already greatly missed in the chaser community, as well as other communities like up in Maryland and different clubs up there. So that's where we're at today, heading into this. Like I said, be very, very careful, be smart, know your limitations, know your levels of expertise out on the water. With all this rising water, most of our rivers are going to see at least a doubling of their current level as of Saturday, okay, March 14th. So expect them to double this week. So be safe and take care of one another. All right, guys.